What's up guys, it's Roger and welcome back to Trials of Wish Ender is around every corner and I'm losing my mind. Oh, okay, legally I guess it's still called Trials of Osiris, but if you play this weekend then you're gonna see exactly what I just said is the facts of the matter. You see, this weekend we have our first Checkmate Trials of Osiris. Now, I'm somebody who has been holding out on Checkmate. I haven't tried the game mode because I just was not very interested in trying it in 6s or anything else they've mixed it in. Now that it's in Trials, I was giving it a try today, and I noticed some things that I was like, not very happy about. Now, we're going to talk about that in the gameplay breakdown, but with this build, I'm going to talk about that first, so why don't we go ahead and start breaking that down. Now, if you've watched the channel for a while, then you know my go-to Blink Hunter build, and this is it right here with the Shinobu's Vow. I really like this exotic because it provides you with 2 skip grenades, and when those do damage, they give you energy back. Now, that's very nice on a build like this in Checkmate because abilities regenerate much slower, so that extra little tick of ability energy back is very nice. On top of that, I am running 100 discipline, so keep that in mind too. I'm still very much so prioritizing my nades, but you need to be much more frugal with them. You need to be more careful about when you throw them and make sure that when you are using them, you are following them up with good aggression or using them to secure kills. If you're not doing that, then this is not going to be a good build for you because you need to be using them smart. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about this build today. As for our mods, it's the same stuff that I usually do run. I like to make orbs of power, so I have on heavy-handed, firepower, and reaper. I also have on 2 bomber mods here, so that I get 17% of my grenade energy back when I do use my dodge. At least that's what it is outside of Checkmate. I assume it's the same thing in Checkmate, but I could be incorrect about that, so if anybody knows for sure, you let me know. And then over here I have 1 Absolution mod and 2 Orbs Restoration mods for those Orbs of Power. Now, although this is similar to my regular Blink Hunter build, it's not the exact same thing. I'll mention right now you don't have to run this on Blink, of course. This is just a good Hunter build in general, but I am going to be blinking today because that's how I play in PvP. Now, that being said, let's break this down a little bit and I'll show you the things that I'm really changing. Now, usually I like using the Gambler Dodge, Combination Blow, and Lethal Current combination when I go in because usually I'm on an aggressive build with a shotgun. But today I didn't want to do that. There's one thing you're going to notice in Checkmate, it's that people are running double primary, and we are in this build today as well. I'll get to the weapons soon, but just know since I am on double primary, I wanted to go for the reload dodge. I went for disorienting blow, which is an easy way to blind our targets and amplify ourselves. And then on top of that, I went for Tempest Strike because it just got buffed at the beginning of this season, so it does more damage now. And on top of that, it's a good ranged ability we can use on our enemies so we can not get too into trouble by getting close to them. Obviously, we have skip grenades on, Blink like I said earlier, we have on flow state to help us out when we do get amplified. This also helps us get our dodge back much faster when we are amplified, which happens quite a bit with this kit. Gathering Storm, of course, for your super, and then down here we have our fragments. I run a lower mobility. If you want to run a higher mobility, that's completely fine. Do whatever you want. I'll keep you in mind that I do have on a lightweight frame SMG today, so that's going to make my rip mobile go from 4 to 6 just when I'm running around with that, which I always am if I'm traversing the map. On top of that, I have on Spark of Haste, which is going to boost my mobility up to 90 when I am just running around for a few seconds, not to mention a plus 30 on the resilience and the recovery as well. Over here we have Spark of Discharge. This is going to give us some extra ionic traces because we don't have a good ability regeneration like we usually do in regular D2, so with this we can just get those extra ionic traces and get our abilities back even faster. Over here I have Spark of Recharge. Again, just something else to help us out get our abilities back even faster. And then last but not least, I have on Spark of Shock because if you're going to be using a grenade focused build, you're going to want Spark of Shock on because the Jolt does a lot of extra damage. 51 extra damage when Jolt actually procs on an enemy, and that's nothing to laugh at. I mentioned to you that we are going to be using a lightweight frame SMG, and for me that is going to be the Multimach CCX, a submachine gun that I really love for a long time now. You can see I have a good amount of kills on this thing because I do like it quite a bit, so I pulled it out today, as well as one of my subscribers the other day left me a comment and said, hey, can I get some Blink Hunter SMG gameplay? So I wanted to make sure I could do that for them because I told them I would try to do my best getting that out to them. Like I said though, double primaries is very good in Checkmate, and this is what we're going to be running in the kinetic slot. As for our actual ranged weapon though, I am going to be using the long arm scout rifle. This thing does very good at killing enemies from a very far away range, which you do quite a bit on a map like Meltdown that we have this weekend, on certain parts of the map, especially like you'll see in the gameplay today that I'm playing the longer lanes more so. Now, the thing to keep in mind is that these do not have a good damage profile like they do in regular Crucible matches, and it was really starting to annoy me. You cannot 3-tap someone to the head with this 120 scout rifle. I think that's ridiculous. I think that it should still be a 3-tap to the head. I mean, a 120 RPM on a 120 hand cannon is still doing crazy damage. So why isn't a 120 scout rifle? I don't know. I know they get scared of these scout rifles, and people are really mad at scout rifles after how strong they've been in the meta for quite a while. So you let me know the thoughts in the comments on the actual scout rifle here, not 3-tapping, but I think that they should. If you want to check out my Christmas drip, here you go. I know people look to see the drip sometimes, so here's everything that I have on in the shader and all that, so there you go in case you're interested in that. And with that out of the way, I think I have everything in the build here covered. If you do have any questions, please feel free to leave those in the comment section or join the Blinkville Discord server. I'm going to have that linked in the top right and in the description. Now, all that said, if you want to leave me a like or subscribe at any point today or join my channel membership, you can click that join button below this video to go ahead and check out the perks that come with that. I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope you have a very good holidays here. Whether you're celebrating Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, I don't know. I just like that you guys are having a good time, and I hope that you are, and then have a good New Year's as well. I'm going to be out of town for the next week. I'm leaving on Christmas Eve. Your boy's going to the airport, going to visit some family. So I really do hope that you guys have a good holidays here. Hopefully you can get some happiness, and if Trials is bringing you down, then please go ahead and don't play it, because I don't want to see you guys sad in the holiday season. You know, it's jolly time. But all that being said, I really appreciate you guys. I want to thank you just here, because this will probably be one of my last videos for the year. So just thank you so much for a great year. I know DTU's in a bad spot, but I really do appreciate the community we have built here. But all that being said, I think we're ready to get in this gameplay. So without further ado, let's go ahead and blink on into it. Now, I figure we can start off by talking about this build and how I think it factors well into the actual Checkmate game mode here. Now, we'll talk about Checkmate as a game mode integrating with this build and just as a whole how I feel with it in Trials very soon, but first of all, we can talk about this build. So you can see this is my usual strategy on a map like this with this build. I throw in a nade and then I try to follow it up with some gunplay if I can to try to grab a kill. But that wasn't as easy this time around, and I was starting to notice that. You can see my energy in the bottom left. That is about halfway to a new nade, off of doing damage with both of my nades that I threw, and then going in and actually getting some kills. I'm amplified, which is nice for our dodge. That comes out very quickly with the amplified, but overall, I started noticing right after that match, I was like, wow, you need to be way careful with how you actually use these nades. All of your abilities, to be honest, because if you do just chuck them out willy-nilly, it's not going to end well for you. So I started realizing something very quickly, which was round 1, I try to only use one nade. Now, if you have to use more than one, if you have to use your entire suite of abilities, then go ahead and do it. It will be worth it so you can grab that first round and get some momentum under your belt. But round 1, I recommend you only use one of your skip grenades and try to use it to secure a kill, especially if you can. After that, you can go into the second round and try to do the same exact strategy where you still have a nade to play with your disposal. Now, if you don't do that and you use your nades too freely, then you're going to be in a bit of a hot water, so keep that stuff in mind. Now, as for Checkmate itself, we can kind of talk about how I feel about it, because the feelings are mostly negative. There are some good things, so why don't we talk about those first? Clearly, the biggest thing is ability spam is down. I like that, because I've been getting sick of just all these bugs thrown at me from these strand people. You know, stasis is back on the rise after getting its buffs, so everyone is just freezing people again, and I'm getting sick of it. It's so annoying. I want to play with my guns. You can do fun stuff like I just did right there, where I had a good nade mixed with some good gunplay. I was able to take 2 people out. That's what I like to see. And sure, that can be done sparingly. And when I have teammates like that, as you saw in that last round there, I had to do plays like that, where I was constantly getting 1v2s or 1v3s by myself, or else it just wasn't going to happen today. But in Checkmate, the thing is, it's harder to do that because you don't have these abilities that can oftentimes enable you to get those 1v2s or 1v3s. It's going to come down way more to gunplay, which personally I like. I got to blink in here, smack that first guy just with my gunplay, and then go in here and smack him with my Tempest Strike, right? And then use some good shots with my Peeker's Advantage to take the second guy out. I like stuff like that. It feels satisfying. It feels rewarding. You can see a round 1 like this, where I throw in a nade perfectly because I saw my teammates were actually being aggressive. That gets me a kill. I can follow up, get another kill there. Boom. That's the perfect round 1 you're looking for in this build. You can see me shooting the wall here. I was just checking my recoil pattern. I was like, am I shooting correctly with my recoil pattern here? And I had it unlocked, so I was just checking though, because sometimes when I'm so warming up for the day, especially since I haven't been playing the game as much lately, I gotta check that. That right there is one of the biggest parts I hate about Checkmate. When you start punching people in Checkmate, it feels like you're doing it with 3 Furbies strapped onto your hands. I don't like that. I don't want to feel like I'm the fucking king of the pillows every time I take a boxing match with somebody. But unfortunately, that's the case in Checkmate. It takes 3 punches to kill somebody because they each do 100 damage. It was very annoying to me. I hated going with my punches, and I was even glad that I didn't put on a lethal current shotgun type build because I didn't even want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that over-aggression when instead I can just play range with an SMG and it works out so much better for me because playing safe is usually a good option in Trials, but it's an even better option in Checkmate. 1, if you're using something with special ammo on it, it's good to play safe because you need to get damage and kills to get that special ammo generated. 2, if you're playing a double primary build, then you're going to have 2 range options most likely, so you're going to want to sit back and play safer anyways. It doesn't make sense for you to be an over-aggressive player in something like Checkmate, and I think that's a balancing point that needs to be addressed. If they want people to keep playing with things like shotgun builds, then they need to give people more reason to do it, because right now, it seems like too much risk with too little reward in my opinion. I think there needs to be more in the way of actual ammo regeneration to get those actual shotgun plays going. Because right now, I don't see why I would want to play with a shotgun build when I can put on something like this every single time and have great success with it. And that's where I'm kind of sitting with that. As you can see right here, look at this beginning of a match. Wish Ender 1, Wish Ender 2. Let me give you a quick guess what you think's third. Hey, there you go. Wish Ender 3. Tweedle fucking D, Dumb, and Dick are spawning into my match, and this was just disgusting to deal with. And this is what I was saying in the intro, because this is the entire weekend. Everyone is abusing bows to start with, but especially Wish Ender. I could not be surprised if at least 70% of the usage rate on weapons this weekend is going to be on Wish Ender. Everyone has these little wall hack bows on, and when 3 people on the enemy team are using it, you can't even take peeks. Unless you have immaculate team peeks with you and your little teamy boys, then you're going to get smacked up by a bunch of Wish Enders. It's not fun at all, it's not fair at all, and I don't understand how they can say that it's fair for me to have to punch somebody in the nutsack 3 different times, even if they have testicular torsion, and I still can't kill them with 2 punches. Are you kidding me? But somebody can walk around the corner with their Wish Ender and immediately wall hack me with their boyfriend, and I have to die to that. There is no actual way you can say that's fair in any capacity, and it's ruining the weekend. I was telling this to my friends. If they just went ahead and disabled Wish Ender right now on Friday, they were like, you know what? Let's disable Wish Ender for Trials this weekend. Trials would actually be pretty dang fun this weekend. I would actually enjoy it. But as of right now, it's just Trials of Wish Ender, and it's absolutely insufferable. The next thing we should talk about is the damage profile on something like these 120 scouts, which I talked about a little bit in the intro. I can't 3-tap with them. That's really frustrating. Unless I'm mistaken, usually when I'm using my long arm, it's like 2 to the head and 1 to the body, like a 120 hand cannon is. And that's really nice. Now, if they wanted to change the damage profile on these things in Checkmate and make it to where I had to hit the 3-tap on head to get those kills, I'd be fine with that. But I'm hitting 3 taps on heads and people are left at a literal maybe 5 HP. That's really frustrating. I feel like I'm not getting rewarded for being a good player. The entire point of Checkmate is supposed to say, hey Stinko, you are getting rewarded for your gunplay now. And then I say, that's awesome, I really appreciate that because I'm a good player and I know I have good gun skill. But when I'm hitting these 3 taps, I'm not getting rewarded for them. Why? Why are you sitting here looking me in the butthole, the crusty little cheeks that I got, and saying, hey, this entire game mode is supposed to accentuate the good players who have actually spent time practicing and honing their skills so you have better gunplay. And then when you put that skill to the test, you don't get rewarded for it because instead people can just cheese on something like these bows and ruin the game still. I don't understand it. Regular PvP is already so crowded with so much cheese and BS, and nobody enjoys it unless your little shrinky-dink brain is like a piece of fucking clay stuck in the kiln for 6 hours. No one likes that, but somehow we're in Checkmate here, which is supposed to try to alleviate those problems, and we're still having them in 16,000 other ways. And they just are just gonna let it slide by. And look at this. Why does that take 3 punches? Why? I got the drop on him, and it's the same outcome if you think about it. That fight right there, that punching fight, was the same outcome. I got the drop on him. If I had got the drop on him and punched him twice while starting my punch early enough, then he died either way. Why does it need to be 3 punches? I don't get that. That needs to be changed right now. And I can still do something like this. I can send my lethal current out, or my Tempest Strike, excuse me, and then start taking some shots, and those guys are fucking ruined. That was a beautiful play, and you gotta be careful with your abilities. I was actually able to use my, melee ability really well there and smack up with it. But if you can't, then you're just getting fucking packed. it just needs to be a better middle ground in my opinion. Because right now, they're so scared to sit here and be like, well, these abilities are overpowered. They don't need to be overpowered in the regular sandbox. And I think that's where the mistake is coming from. Where they're sitting here saying, yeah, they're going to be overpowered and way too cheese abuse in the regular sandbox, but then Checkmate is so that's not as abusable, you know? So that these abilities are brought in line in Checkmate. Cool. Why can't you just find a happy medium that makes it to where these abilities aren't overpowered in any capacity, so they can't be as easily cheese, in any capacity, and then regular PvP would just be good again? You can't just do that? I know you can. You had good balance on the entire sandbox in the 30th anniversary patch, and then you fucked it like your grandma and Nom. Stop doing it, Bungie. Stop fucking the Nom grandma. She doesn't need it. Let her pass away peacefully into the ether. Overall, the best thing I can say about this weekend is that I'm not gonna have to play it. That I can just get these videos out to you guys, tell you what I'm thinking of the weekend and some fun builds to use on it for yourself, but I'm happy that I don't have to sit here and bash my head into Wish Ender Hell all weekend, because that's what it's gonna be. And in my opinion, it's probably just gonna get worse. We all know how the Destiny community is. They find some cheese, they find some bullshit, and they start abusing it harder and harder. And as soon as one big YouTuber who has no fucking moral compass and all they care about is the fucking bag comes around and goes, oh my god, Wish Ender is so good in Trials this weekend, then the usage rate is just gonna go up even more. And it's gonna get ruined even more. And that's the constant cycle we're stuck in. Because nobody in this game respects each other, not enough to actually play the game for actual enjoyment. No, it just has to be ruined by the next big cheesy thing. And if that was the Crunchwrap fucking Supreme, by all means, that's the cheese I want to see. But it's not. You know, it's the Mexican pizza that you got in school when you were younger. Okay, wait, hold on. Those Mexican pizzas in school were actually pretty slapper. Bad metaphor, but the point is that this cheese is disgusting, you know? This is like an expired Gordita Crunch. I don't know if food from Taco Bell can really expire, seeing as how it, you know, is probably like 50% plastic, allegedly. You know, don't sue me, Taco Bell. I don't need that. But you get what I'm saying. But also, like, Taco Bell, I'm just not a big fan, you know? I never understood the Taco Bell hype. And then one day I was like, got my friends together, and I said, hey, I want to try Taco Bell, because everyone says it's so good. And then one of my friends said, yeah, it's really good. It'll just blow your cheeks up afterwards. And I was like, that's fine. I already poop on a very regular schedule. Let's do it. And then my other friend said, honestly, bro, I don't even think Taco Bell is that good. And I was like, there's no way. Everyone freaks out about Taco Bell. Taco Bell has to be so good, right? You know, freaking tacos inside of a bell. What could go wrong? Philadelphians get it. You know, they got like a Liberty Bell or something. So what's wrong with putting a taco inside of one? But then we ordered it. I get that shit. No. Nasty. The best thing I had was just a regular freaking soft taco. That was good, but everything else I was just like, what is going on here? What is this shit? Y'all ever tried the Cinnabon things from Taco Bell? I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what happened where they said this is a proper amount of sweet, but it could literally kill an infant. If you fed that to anybody under the age of 3, I think they would straight up die. People are dying from the charged lemonade at Panera. Yeah, I think you would also die if you ate a whole pack of Cinnabons from the Taco Bell and you were below the age of 3. I'm not even kidding. I'm getting a little off track here, but it's kind of because I already said what I mostly need to say about this weekend, about Checkmate. But I will finish it off with this. I thought I switched my scout rifle there, so I didn't kill that guy. I hit him in the head, and I was like, what? I didn't kill him. And I was like, oh, apparently I didn't switch my scout. So there's that. I'll just kind of leave this weekend off by saying, I think Checkmate is a good idea. I think that with some good implementations of proper balancing, it could go a long way. Number 1, you need to tone down bows crazy hard. Number 2, if we're looking at Checkmate as if it's supposed to be the game mode that is actually trying to promote competitive nature in Destiny 2, then I think you need to start treating it like that. And what I mean by that is, in any other game, when you have a competitive scene, there's ban phases. Whether it's for maps, guns, characters, whatever it is, you can ban stuff. Because inherently, there's always going to be something that's way too strong in a sandbox. You can't have a perfectly balanced sandbox in any game. It's just not possible. And if you did have a perfectly balanced sandbox, it would get boring for people because it would be the same thing forever. So it's fine for things to be overpowered for a while, but you need to address them swiftly and you need to address them strong enough. But Bungie doesn't understand that. So let's go in a different direction. Let's say if Checkmate is supposed to be this mode that actually balances things, then things like special grenade launchers, one-shotting, bows doing as much damage as they do, those need to be looked at very heavily in something like this. In my opinion, they need to be fully disabled. I don't want to see bows or special grenade launchers, fighting lions, stuff like that, things that are just complete cheese with 0 skills applied to them. Well, let's say 1 skill, you know. I don't really think there's too many things that are actually 0 skill, but low skill weapons, let's just take them out of the rotation. Let's take the things that are actually higher skill weapons, skill shot type weapons, and those should be the ones that you should be promoting inside of Checkmate. If you want people to actually improve their gun skill and their gunplay and have those fun gun fights, then that's what you need to be promoting inside of your game mode. If you say that's what it's for, then back your shit up. I'm sick of this baseless BS that they throw out every time they say they want to improve something, but then they don't put action behind it. So that's why things don't get better in this game. But that would be an easy way to do it. Actually try some very strong things. Say this weapon type is disabled in Checkmate. It doesn't have to be permanent, just like this weekend is not going to be permanent. You just try it for a weekend. And then if you see the community reception is very, very positive, then you say, okay, that might be more of a permanent feature. But get the community feedback. Try stuff like that. And they don't want to do that. And that's the things that kind of gets me riled up, because it's like, why do you try so much stuff that nobody asked for? But then there's clear things that you should be trying, and you don't even go ahead and give it a little try. And if they could just start addressing stuff like that, they could really get Checkmate to a good point. I see the potential in it. I want to be very clear. And I really do appreciate, you know, that they are trying. They're clearly trying. I am happy about that. I'm happy to see that there's some actual trying going on, because we don't get that often from Bungie. You know, whoever you want to blame in the company for that, the higher ups, the devs, whatever, I don't care. I'm not going to start that argument right now. My entire point is that when I do see some actual effort put behind stuff in this game to make it better, I really, really appreciate that. Even if it's misplaced, even if they don't understand what they're doing completely, if they're out of touch with the community, which they are, at least they're trying. So keep trying, please. Try some new stuff. Anything that I said in this video will be freaking great. But overall, I do like that it's a step towards something different, and if they could just combine this with regular PvP, I think there is such a perfect middle ground there that we could actually get an amazing meta strung up here in the next like 4 months, in my opinion. But hey, as always with Bungie, I have low expectation and low hopes. I would usually in life I have high hopes, low expectations, but I kind of just have low both nowadays. Either way though, that's the end of the video for today. I really do appreciate you guys. Like I said earlier, please have a great holiday season. And by the way, I'm going to be uploading to my second channel, my Roger's Aquarium channel. So please go check that out. I'm going to have that channel linked on the end screen. It's also on my channel page in the top right and in the description. So go ahead, check that channel out if you want to support that. I would really appreciate it. But that's it for me today. So as always, have a great day, Guardians.